We're going up against Ziandi, who had a crazy clutch, by the way, which I hope we can all just think about that for a moment, how intense that was. But Vidil and Janice, of course, now, yeah, we can see the bottom left, they've moved up now into first place. So when we see the leaderboards, that's going to be good looking. Games left, of course.
And it's just impressive to think that Vidil and Giannis just find themselves time and time again in these situations where they just seem as though they're absolutely in control. They never panic, and I think that that's kind of the main shining point here for this duo. And despite the fact that they're not able to close out entirely on another Victory Royale, it still goes a long way for them to hold on to these top 5 finishes over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, third. No, I'm not going to complain. Would you complain about a third place finish?
I mean, he picked them. So.
I did pick them, and of course, we talk about this consistency factor, right? This is why they are so good. Okay, so that was the first thing I want to talk about. We'll take a look at the standings, and I do now want to kind of double back, right? Malibuca and Merstash are currently sitting in third place. They've moved up 5 spots. I think for me, my biggest takeaway is out of this, we talked about it at the top of the show, Malibuca, we know is one of the greatest to play the game. But for Merstash, he's looking to try and silence everybody else. Everybody that's looking at him saying, yeah, well, Malibuca's just carrying you. Right now, Merstash is saying, that's not true.
No, and they should never, because he's basically one of the best fraggers in the region and in the complete world as well. And it's interesting to me that usually their good games have this exact same thing. It's repetition over and over again. They fight off spawn, they have a mid game, they fight in 4th and 5th zone to refresh their mats, they dunk on everyone in end game. And this is like the first win that I've seen in FNCS that kind of differed from that roadmap that we're used to seeing for them. They ended up not fighting off spawn because we know they're not contesting anyone. And this is the first time where they've actually done a really good job of setting up, getting tags, getting above the storm surge damage, and then being able to play out the rest of the game like that instead. More like a, I'll put air quotes, traditional game.
I also think it went a long way just not having to worry about Tayson and Chapik since they ended up falling relatively early on in comparison to what we've been seeing out of that duo. So for Merstash and Malibuca, I mean, they're more than happy whenever they see their competition get eliminated.
And of course, they've now moved up 5 places, so third. There's still a bit of a gap, obviously, between second and obviously them in third place now. But I'm interested, of course, that gap can be bigger, smaller with the large amount of games that we've got left.
I know, man. I do want to highlight in 6th place there, moving up 7 spots, Vico and Jackson, right, doing super well. And I think the thing we have to kind of consider as we discuss them is we have 1 game left to kind of set the stage going into tomorrow.
Yeah, and one of the things I think they did well in this game is it was a home zone for them, right? They're a tilted team, really close. Same with Malibuca and Merstash. A lot of the teams who are in this area did really good this game, which is great for, you know, a bit of RNG that if they get it on their side, they can capitalize on that. However, it doesn't really say much about further zones and how that'll play, because we have seen a couple of shaky ones from both of these teams.
I was definitely really impressed, though, with Vico, just looking for that direct challenge against Mr. Savage and Hen, and able to take it as well, despite the fact that he was in a solo position, and it just doesn't really seem to have that much impact against his fragging potential here, because Jackson, he's been out since, like, the 4th Elam here for Vico, so the fact that he's still able to close with 7, still maintain their position, actually shoots them up quite a bit, I should say. And I think that despite the fact that we're seeing a bit of a disparity between 115 points to 162, it's only day 1.
It can close up big time, and we've seen that repeatedly when it comes from day 1 to day 2. But a quick note I want to add in there as well. The fact that Tayson and Chapik's lost off drop that time, they moved down only 3 places. I actually kind of thought they'd go down more than that. Sometimes, obviously, you're going to see like a -5, 6, 7. Yeah. But only 3 isn't the worst, but they obviously starting to trail us.
Elims.
It is the Elims.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. I am getting word. Vidil had quite the way to celebrate their current standings, holding in first place.
Let's go! Let's go! I'm not going to mouth the rest of it. It'll be but probably not broadcast friendly if I said what the rest of you to say. Look at this!
There it is.
Oh,
absolutely crushing it with the dance moves. So as we do as we, you know, have this last game, I do want you all at home to consider.
He's still going, man. He's
still going. He's crushing it.
He's just fading away.
That's for you. That's for you.
That's for me.
Love it.
As we prepare for this last game, things to consider. Every time we watch these duos interact with each other, right? Eliminations happen. That's going to be it. A duo falls, no more points on the board. You have to look at game 6 and reconsider coming into tomorrow's games, right? So this is pretty much it. The last one here on the day for the Day 1 EU FNCS Finals. Get ready. This one's about to be crazy.
Game 6.
Thank you, Zeke. This is going to be more than crazy. Tayson, Chapix 4-1 against Podosai X Sweeze, Malibuca and Merstash bumping themselves up the leaderboard with that most recent victory royale. So many players giving it their all, and we're so close to that. Saying that because there's still 6 more matches in day 2.
Of course, but we have our eyes set on this one. Of course, the biggest game of the day so far. The last chance, today at least, to show what you can do. Set yourself up for tomorrow's games. Who will be the teams, though, to take advantage? We've seen so many different switches up in terms of things that have happened all around the map, even in some of the off-spawn battles as well. But in the final game, who can keep their cool? Who can hold their nerve?
Who can keep that mentality at an all-time high? The battle bus is ready. So are the players. Let's head into the match. Let's see how this last match of the day unfolds.
Let's see who it will be. We're going from the Daily Bugle all the way over to Greasy Grove. And the players will drop like flies as the game continues.
We can see the even split, but what we're going to keep our eyes on here, it's going to be Gripey cheated, trying to take shots out of the sky. The player still gliding down. The fly is still yet to reach the ground. But here it is. Tayson, Chapix, X-Sweeze, Put-Aside. X-Sweeze getting knocked down. Tayson now just 1 shot away from taking out Put-Aside. Chapix, though, is with a sliver of HP. You could blow on him and take him out, and that's exactly what happened there. Chapix getting knocked down, but Tayson and Chapix now 5-1.
5-1 at North Loot Lake. 5-1 to Tayson and Chapix. Going into tomorrow, if you are Podesite and X-Sweeze, do you leave? Let us know in the Twitch chat. Let us know all over social media. Takata, let me know what you would do.
Look,
Hello.
I'm all about never giving up. And that's what Frey and Flixie are doing here as well. As Flixie's gone down, but Frey has not had enough. He wants to finish this off. He wants to get the last elimination of the day and play the match out. He's not ready to go to bed yet. He's just woken up. And he wants to continue this action forwards. His force is going to pick up the finish, get that siphon, bring back up his shield, and now
C'est quoi ce spamming,
with
frérot?
force in a dominant position in this engagement, even with his duo partner close by.
Est-ce qu'il a
Might
gagné?
just be enough to make his opponent either have to make a quick play or a disengagement, but he wants the elim. The pickaxe comes through, the shot connects, 45, another shot cracking his opponent, and now 1 away from getting the elimination. The dominance has changed now as Frey does not connect it, and Force is gonna be the one that comes out on top.
I was actually for a second there thinking, wow, props to Frey. He's really applying the pressure, stopping the revive from happening, taking some shots at his opponent with finesse, and then, damn, taken out. Force will be victorious.
Let's see a replay, though, what Chris and Vortex were able to do. We saw them with 2 eliminations. They already have 1 here, and for that last one, a quick piece and a quick elimination. Good job with the reality falls. We saw how this early game engagement was going to go. Fakey free mock play against Vortex and Chris. Chris and Vortex being the ones showing the dominance currently. But they're looking to keep that going forwards.
Malabuka Mustache. A victory out was always a nice thing to get in an FNCS final lobby. But will it be the highest of the highs for them across this weekend? They'll certainly hope not. They'll certainly hope that they can achieve even more and maybe even leave the weekend victorious.
That's the ideal situation. Leaving the weekend with the crown on your head, but for
Vas-y, je viens par le mec le plus nul du monde, frérot.
this early in the last match. QB as well gone down though. Now the 1 versus 1 comes through, and nice little quick shots from Cherry. They're taking out Andy. 2 elims on the board.
Yeah, props to them as well. They've had their fair share of struggles, but winning in the final game is never easy. Oh, dearie me, Hero taking big damage and returning big damage, but not before he falls. Fortunately for him, though, Dirty was ready and waiting. But the problem is Pink and Anas are on the lurk, they are on the hunt, and they have found their prey. And I'm not too confident about his chances now. Actually, getting coned.
He's trapped him.
He's trapped him in the cone, but I don't think he'll count for much. Dirty Willful and Kiro was nowhere to be found, as he was already taken out. And a nice little peanut from Binkin and Us.
Tank strapped like a mouse.
Vas-y, il m'a rien foutu lui, en plus il me vole mes kills.
On the other side. Take out Andilex.
Hop là.
Coming into this weekend,
15
there were a lot
minutes,
of
puis il
people
est
who are
22h,
on the quote-unquote
22h15.
Andelex hype train, right? The likes of the top analysts in all of Fortnite, and even Resub was on the hype train. But it just hasn't quite panned out today for those two. But the big thing for them, and the silver lining, right, is that if you know Andelex, if you've been watching competitive EU for a long time, he's the kind of player that always has better day twos, right? That has always been one of the main tropes, one of the main story arcs of Andelex, is that day one might not be too great, but day two, watch out.
It's a hype train that's still starting the engine. It hasn't started moving yet. It still has another day to do so. But a duo that has been moving, Cherry, already able to pick up 2, but going against ForZR and Kha'Zix, this has been an incredibly dominant duo, especially in the early game. Their end games haven't been going as strong. You can see them in the 25th spot. But their early games, they've been able to get those elims. Kha'Zix already with 1, but now with the danger of not having a lot of materials, Kha'Zix here might even have to split some with ForZR. There it is, drops his wood, and now they're going to scavenge the way through. Try and recuperate what they've lost, but for the duos that already have enough to take these engagements.
Putain, mais oui, mais frérot, c'est à peine construit, le mec, je suis tombé.
The engagements come through, the boxes get entered, but nothing big happens yet.
We've seen Sinner than 500 be destructive in some of these games. We saw them a couple games ago taking down on Rescard. I believe actually that was last game. I say a couple games ago, but it was last game. This time round though, they will be potentially going down.
Breaking now. Forced to pop up some mini shields, but
he doesn't need it too much.
He's to use those splashes with his duo partner as he hears them come through. Playing safe, using a lot of materials to disengage there. JJ2 aware. They're just as healthy now.
Ouais, je t'entends. Mais c'était pour savoir, est-ce que là, ce soir, les FNCS?
Bah, faut regarder à l'écran, mais sur l'écran, c'est en direct, normalement.
Parce que moi, je suis venu, parce que la dernière fois qu'on pouvait regarder, on pouvait gagner un sac à dos, alors du coup, je suis venu.
Ouais, mais en fait,
c'est quelque chose cette fois.
Ouais, ils ont gagné un sac à dos et un changement d'écran. Mais pour les avoir, faut jouer 15 minutes.
Mais tu sais pas ça quand ça quelle
heure? En fait, il faut juste jouer 15 minutes. Et après, je crois qu'il faut soit lancer son jeu, soit quelques temps après. Mais après, les pioches qui sont au tout début, il faut participer à la FNCS et terminer dans les 30 personnes.
Pourquoi?
En gros, les pioches là-bas, au tout début,
oui, je vois,
il faut être dans le top 300. Il faut être dans le top 300 sur tout le monde qui font les FNCS. Les mecs qui sont en train d'être trop stylés.
As the deciding factor to keep rotating, but a nice little cheeky spot from the Frizzy here might actually be able to get an opening. A nice shot, but for Pink and Anas, we saw how they got that elim. Starting strong, but only 23 builds. We can see they got themselves into an engagement. It seems to have been taking a while. They haven't been able to farm up, haven't been able to get their loot for late game. These refreshes could be what grants them that. They are in the zone, but once first zone closes, if it closes far, they're going to want to finish this quickly. They do have time, but it's more about recuperating what they've lost. Now with only 14 wooden builds for Anas. A vision of the whole map being that high up. They need to make something happen here.
They need to be careful they don't get chopped out. You can see at the bottom there, Stormy Right was looking to try to chop things out. And I think they are finally aware, and so they've started to drop down. But the thing is, they're not working with much in terms of materials whatsoever. So that makes this fight so awkward for them. And even now, Pink looking for an opportunity to chop things out himself.
Dangerous though. They have dropped down. No longer have the danger of being chopped, but now the danger is, what are they going to do next? Even if they get these eliminations, they need to recuperate what they've lost. As Default, Stormy, they're down below. Default still with a lot of shield. Stormy right gets knocked though. For Pink and Anos, 2 elims for this duo. Now showing the dominance, the upper hand in this engagement. But they don't want to leave it. They like their muddy ground down below. They want to stay together. They want to stay composed. And they know if they don't make any big mistakes here, they should be able to come out on top.
Default has to be very, very careful. Not just because of Pink and Anas, but because DKS and the Siptos are rolling on in. And we've seen them in these scrappy fights earlier in games, how effective they can be. Pink is literally trying to farm anything he can right now. He needs some builds. Default is actually still sneaking around. He actually just wants to smoke. He's not even thinking about dipping right now. He really does believe he can take them out as a solo, and maybe he's not too far off. But Pink is aware now. Oh, didn't get the edit off in time.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Default. Not at all. He tried getting the sneaky play, wasn't successful, and now he has to choose if he wants to take the disengagement. But with DKS, the Siptos up above, they'll spot him out as he starts to walk away. But Pink and Anas are continuing to play this safe, play it calm and collected. They don't want to take any risks here. They know how well they're doing. 4th place on the leaderboard. Once the Storm Surge refreshes, 863.
That's a lot.
Oh, that's more than enough.
That actually is their surge for the game, like, pretty much done for the most part. They literally just need to leave, farm up, get their materials back to a good point, and they can pretty much just play dead side the rest of the game. And we can expect to see them in endgame looking strong. That is what they should do. Now, will they be able to do that or not? It's a bit different.
Going Ziandi, though. Continuing to show why they're so high up the leaderboard. 0 elims, but they have more than enough damage. 210 in a great position early in the match. Have the grapple gloves for rotating later. Full charges on them. With materials, with shields, they've got it all.
Yeah, we've seen them take up such great surge positions throughout the state, and that's been no different in this game either. And so for that reason, I expect to see another top-class game from Joe and Ziandi.
Another one. We'll have to see if they're able to do it. Refsguard Clown, though, 30 below. Good news is, with the positioning, we can see a 23 tag. It's not going to be enough, but there's going to be a lot more options. So has to use that line of sight to find the openings. As Vino and Queasy, in 5th place, 471 above. They hear players close by. They know that there's a duo on top. But it looks like the duo on top, Refsguard and Clown, want to choose to get that damage on the duo down below. But do they know that it's Queasy and Vino? Harpoon being used. Looks like they're not trying to trade shots here. They're trying to go all in.
And an all-in for Clown and Refsguard is something we've seen them take onto this team literally last game. If they can take Queasy and Veno out again, that would be an insane turn of events in terms of the standings. This is a team that was in 1st place and now just raid bossed out of the game, out of contention maybe even, by Refsguard and Clown. Let's see though. Vino is renowned as one of the best fighters in the game, but right now with the HP he's working with, there's not really much he can do. He's going to have to rely on Queasy's prowess. Oh my goodness, Refsguard is feeling it right now, but he has to be careful. He can't get overzealous, otherwise he's going to fall just like that. But no, Clown, he comes in and picks up Queasy and Veno in this last game. And so our 5th place team once again going down way too early.
Got both the elims there, but Refsguard did so much damage, and now for Reason and Noah, they need to do the same. Jerky goes down. That's an elim on the board for Reason. Reinforced walls come in, want to protect themselves from the 3rd party. And you can tell that these players, they're feeling motivated in this last match.
an intense day 2. I can already tell. It's going to get real feisty. Pink, quick little LM there for the boy. Finally taking out default after how long?
Feels like a century. He was able to stay up. But ultimately, he did go down. And for Merstash and Malibuka, I'm liking what I'm seeing. From the solo clutches to the VRs, to now great positioning and damage. They've really set themselves up great for this last match of the day. And if they're able to close it out strong, that's going to be a confidence booster going into day 2.
Yeah, this has been a team who has shocked a lot of people when they burst onto the scene at the start of this chapter. And now, deep into the chapter, they are very much looking like strong and top competition. And they've shown that today. And this final game, there's clearly an opportunity for them, right? The team that was above them in the standings in 5th place has gone down. And so certainly the opportunity for Badil and Janice, though. I've said it a couple times today, but I will repeat myself. Cashing in them scrimbucks.
And it's paying off. I mean, in the 1st place spot. This duo is feeling good. You know what they're cooking up in these bushes. Both players finding those angles. Trying to see if they can share some of those bullets with their opponents. As for Strokey now, Kylie. They're forced into a dangerous situation, but how dangerous is it? If they're the ones that come out on top, it's Nebs Marine on the opposing end here. Now 3 above, avoiding those early Storm Surge ticks, but at any second, the threshold could turn around, putting them below. In 9th place, one big game here to close it off could be huge. But Nebs and Marine, they know that they're losing HP. They see the Storm Surge picking, they get the first knock, and now with 1 more left to go, Marine needs to connect this last shot. He is low though, and he doesn't want to take any risks. They've already knocked down 1. If they're able to recuperate their HP, get the finish, or even close it out, finish is gotten. For Strokey goes down, and now the last player up trying to make an escape. Because Marine's fell down below, and Nebs now has taken out Kylie.
That's actually huge because Kylie and Strokey were sitting in 9th place. They were a top 10 team that had the potential to really make waves, shake the lobby up when necessary. This team here definitely has the potential to shake things up. Hen and Mr. Savage, the last couple games have actually made it to endgame, right? Considering how they started, right? They started off very, very slow. You already had all the haters going, oh my goodness, Mr. Savage is poking another FNCS final. But they've started to turn things around ever so slightly, right? They're still sitting in 20th, which isn't by any means, you know, where they want to be and where they have the potential to be. But clearly starting to find a bit of rhythm.
You know, 11. You need a setback to make the comeback. And although they didn't start off strong, the comeback, they still see that little bit of light peeking through the doorway. You just have to open it up and continue playing well throughout this last match and also day 2. But another duo that's kind of been on the borderline. Thomas Trippern dropping in the Rave Cave, having a bit of risky situations off the start, causing them to kind of mess up their mid-game, going for reboots, having to refarm, not able to focus on positioning, but now looking strong in this last match of the day. They might be able to close it off, but Rico and Jackson, the duo contesting Mr. Savage and Hen, such a strong loadout, but missing that little bit of damage.
Yeah, this is for sure been an interesting day by way of who's been able to step up. There's been a couple teams who we would have expected to see, probably even in the top 5, who just haven't been able to hit the mark. The likes of Fetty and Cammy, Tripp and Thomas. You could even argue the likes of Trulex and Chicha should have been higher up. Of course, we know they've been contested and whatnot. But definitely been some surprises by way of performances. But again, in this last game, can you make up for what has maybe not been the most exciting of days? That's always the question. For Vico, it's all about making sure that they can keep their high Down on Surge is never the spot to be in, but they don't have to deal that much damage to get back above it. The only issue is that if they don't deal that damage soon, they are quickly running out of heals. I don't think they know there's some heals up above their boxes. And so they have to start hitting the shots, and now Vika actually will just go down. And maybe Jackson is going to follow him. Just 14 below, it's such an insignificant amount of damage you'd think, but they have to deal it.
They had a third eye to find those flashes up above. Vico fully eliminated. Jackson, no shield to work with, but he picks up that finish. He gets the spare loot. There was reason.
But most importantly, the damage.
And the damage. Now, up above, but only by 49. This could change quickly as he continues to heal himself back up. Has the med mist in the hand, but with the shots coming in from the duos already based up, it's going to be very difficult for him to make it to zone here. And a duo that has not been able to do too well in these most recent end games. It's been Seti and Cammy, one of the most, if not the most consistent duo not showing up in this day one. But if they're able to close it out strong, it could be a good start for what they could do in day two.
That's what it's all about, closing out strong. For Yandy and Joe, the whole day seemingly has been strong for this team, but it is about doing it once more. Thomas and Trippen finally posturing and looking like a team that maybe has their set on playing height, or at least being a dominant factor in this game. The zone pool definitely favors that one, and so Trippen will start to pre-tarp as Thomas will look for opportunities for limbs. Badil and Janice, the first place team, not missing a beat, looking like their best, looking comfortable. Pink and Anas, even though they're not on height, they certainly are a team that has shown, especially this season, that they're strong enough regardless of what layer they play. And Malabuka and Mustache coming off of a victory royale definitely have what it takes. So many top teams still up alive in this final game. How can I forget Chapix and Tayson, who have just been so good every time they've had the chance to play a game out. And so after finally winning the Battle of Spawn again, they're here in the end game.
All these Titan duos, their last chance to set themselves up for day two. Pink and Anas, they've had a steady rhythm, but they need to turn that frequency up in this last match. They need to get a big game here if they want to be at the top. Mustache, Malibuka on the same page, third place spot. They continue to tarp through. They actually find an opponent, but not going to take the risk to continue pursuing it. As now, up above, Tripper and Thomas, they still have the high ground.
All of the top four teams still remain alive, and they're thriving while doing it. Mustache up. Chapix has to fend as a solo. Tayson has fallen, and he was the one with all of the elims. So we'll see if Chapix can start adding to that tally. For Pink and Anas, it's not looking good. HP low, materials not there. And the grapple glove charges are dwindling. Probably just saving that one to be able to use it to grab loot like a harpoon. But for Vadil and Janice, another game where they just look so strong.
Looking powerful, looking ready. For Chapix, though, we said it before, he's lost Tayson. He has to play it alone. He's continuing to tarp through, but the high ground is seeming to be uncontested. So much is happening down below. The changes in elevation. Mustache and Malibuka looking to close it off. Cammy gets knocked out. Back to the venue. We'll see you in day two. Ziandi Joe picking up Janice. They were looking strong, but now with Janice gone down, Ziandi and Joe looking that much stronger.
Ziandi and Joe have been like a wrecking ball, just taking everybody out that enters their path. Vadil is still up in the game, and we know what this guy can do as a solo. Chapix has shown solo prowess in the past, but maybe a bit too much to handle for him. Now, how he stayed alive for this long, I do not know, but Arthur will be the one to take him out. I can't see Thomas and Trippen up on height anymore. They've seemingly been forced back down, and so Joe and Ziandi in a game where they're just in the prime position.
They have the prime position. You said it, Levin, but they have to hold on to it. They have to finish it off as Thomas and Trippern now out of materials. You can see 0 builds for Thomas. This is why they gave up the high ground. They need a refresh. They need to have an opening to get that elimination. But for Arter, for Mixon, they find an opening. They get one, and the other duo close by. It's Merstash, it's Malibuka. It's a dangerous team to face against as Merstash knocks down one. Now Malibuka and Merstash reach 6 eliminations, but they're running low on mats.
Yeah, it's not going to be a situation where they can just keep on holding on. They're going to have to make something happen. The zone's moving through so many old builds, and so Joe and Ziandi may not have opportunities to get a limb, but they can just stay alive and wait for everybody to take each other out, just like so. Mustache falls, Nebs falls, Belusi is also falling. They are falling down like dominoes. Thomas and Trippin, who have dropped down, are starting to profit from the demise of all these other competitors. Malibuka still alive in the zone though, and Hydro looking to try and avenge his teammates.
So many solos,
and he
but order goes down. Hydro secures that second elimination, but has to keep it going forwards. Trippin and Thomas, they've gotten the materials they've lost, but will it be enough to finish it off? Remember that high ground duo, they're alone up there. They're waiting for the party to end. It's Joe, it's Ziandi, the dominance from above. They have to bring it to an end as Trippin now goes down. Thomas left alone, running through the dirt down below. Cheating close by, hits the 86, hits the crack, gets the elim, and Thomas continues moving forward.
This is a scary sight for Malibuka because Thomas is hitting some shots, but we know he can hit them as well. The pressure coming in from above, and so Thomas, who has now fallen, leaves Malibuka alone to try and do the 1v2. What can he do against Yandy and Joe? These two have not missed a beat all day long, and I don't know if they will start to miss one now. It seems like Joe's managed to miss some HP, and so Malibuka making it a bit more difficult for them. They're now scurrying around in the zone. They're running out of HP. Oh my goodness! How's Malibuka managed to do that? It didn't seem possible. It shouldn't have been possible, but somehow he's made it work. This guy doesn't seem to fail.
Malibuka, are you kidding me? From one solo clutch throughout the middle of this tournament to another one to close it out in day one. The 1 versus 2. What a way to finish that rhythm.
How on earth does he keep making it happen? I actually don't understand it anymore. There is no reason he should be winning that. Oh my goodness, Malibuka. What a player, like what a player. Let's look at this. He just got back in the zone. He hit the shot at the end there. And Joe and Ziandi fell. Malibuka Mustache, their second victory royale of the day. And they close out day one in style.
Speechless. That's how this duo has left me. In my head, I was thinking, look, Malibuka, he's got the disadvantage. Both opponents, they have an advantageous position. They have more HP, more shield. It's Joe and Ziandi, two of the best players on EU. Malibuka's done for, but no, he was just getting started. His frequencies were at an all-time high, and he closed it off with the 1 versus 2.
Some players are just built different, and Malibuka seems to be the kind of guy that is simply built different. I am so impressed by these guys every single time they show up in the lobby, and it's been a pleasure to watch them. It's only been one day, though. We still have so many more days of Fortnite action left. I say so many more, just the one, but it will be a jam-packed one because the players are playing like that. Look, we're going to send it to the analysts to break down all that we've seen today, but what a day one it's been.
Dude, what the heck? Malibuka Mustache. Okay, if you're just tuning in, viewers, Fortnite fam, come closer. If you're just tuning in, you just saw a crazy game, and I know what you're thinking, like, wow, that was a crazy clutch. But we just watched them get a win last game, and we literally talked. I literally said Mustache is one of those players that is looking, right? The community constantly looks at Mustache and just says, yeah, you get carried by Malibuka, and then he gets a win last game. And then now to get the double back-to-back, Malibuka's like, okay, look, I am also good. Like, it's not that I'm carrying. We're both just this dang good.
I wish I could just visually just splurt out the correct number of games that I've seen Malibuka win by himself. Like, it's actually unbelievable how many solo clutches I have seen him. And it's like, you know, we talk about Thomas HD, he'll solo clutch, get a bunch of points. Oh, it's an amazing play. But Malibuka just seems like game after game after game, when he's a solo, he will win it. Not only just do crazy things, win the entire thing.
The thing that separates, I think, a standard player from a pro is just the ability to maintain your mindset under pressure. And Mustache, Malabuka, neither of them has folded even once when they've been put into this ultra late game situation. If they make it to that final 3, I'm starting to believe they're just going to take it home every time, because we saw them at one point, Mustache, even with that 12 splash loadout. But regardless of the situation that they had with gear, the composure that you need in order to actually close out on this, Joe and ZAndy, I mean, a bit unfortunate day for them. Third time coming in second place. 2 of them arguably should have been first, especially looking at this last one. But the pressure difference, that is really just the element that we see Malabuka and Mustache performing in best.
I'm starting to think I don't even want to see like Mustache and Malabuka
they only
together.
Win in 2s. They only win in 2s.
I don't want Mustache and Malabuka to be together in a duo and endgame, because I just think they probably won't win then.
There's no reason.
No.
There's no reason you should have won that game, Malabuka, and yet you still show
he's crazy.
that you are crazy. Put me in those situations, coach. I'm ready to 1v2.
That's not a good man. Okay, I thought you meant you. I was like, that's not a good man.
Not me. No, I am not Malabuka.
How do they always back-to-back win? That's the real question. They get one, they get the next.
It's like Levin said, just built different. Okay, we got to do this. This was just the first 6 matches. This is going to set us up coming into tomorrow's games. Let's see the final leaderboard for the first 6 games. Now,
wow.
I'm actually extremely shocked by this, right? If we take a look at that top 4, none of them have moved, which is actually like interesting considering Mustache and Malabuka just pulled off this insane clutch. And yet Vidil and Janice are still on top.
I mean, there's basically like a 20-point gap between them to start with. Now they've closed that gap. But similarly, like Vidil did good that game, ZAndy did good. All of our top teams were still in it, even though obviously it was overshadowed by the fact that Mustache and Malabuka won it.
The whole top 4 on the leaderboard were like completely there. Like they were all in there, all making deep runs. And again, that's just going to make it so hard to catch up. But when you have special moments like Malabuka's one, you do start to close a gap a bit.
That's the interesting part, right? It's about holding your position in day 1, but also maintaining that confidence for day 2, right? Because now these players, they're done with day number 1. Now they're going to go to sleep. They're going to wake up tomorrow. They're going to eat breakfast. They're going to get on their console, their PC, and they're going to start playing, but they have to do just as well as they did today if they want to maintain that spot at the top.
I mean, something interesting about the top 4 as well, they're all uncontested. You look at all of these teams, all uncontested teams, and they're still managing to do well. You know, the Storm Surge has been a factor. I've been particularly impressed with Joe and ZAndy. I shouldn't be, because they're amazing, and we know how good they are, but particularly in their consistency. I haven't really seen it from them before, with their consistency, their ability to make those end games, particularly when the zone isn't in their favor. We saw it in that last game, one of the more favorable zones for them, but oh boy, did they make the most of it. Second place, solid.
Let's give some props to Tyson and Champions as well. They moved up to positions there, up into 5th. You're talking about top 4 all uncontested. They're contested, battling it off spawn, 5-1 now.
Tyson and Chapix might actually like be on the verge of having like one of the best performances we've seen from a contested team in an FNC final.
Undoubtedly.
Like a good day tomorrow, which is always possible. I don't think many people expected them to 5-1 today. It could get real interesting tomorrow, I promise you that.
You did.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about contention at the same time. Thomas HD and Tripper, and they're leapfrogging 6 spots, actually closing out in that 10th place position, and they had a relatively rough day. Their start was not one that you would expect from this kind of dynamic.
Oh my God!
Yet they're still able to finish strong in that final 10.
The level of stress
I got you, fam. I
got
you, fam.
But that's it for just day 1 of the competition. We're back tomorrow for the conclusion of the Chapter 3 Season 3 FNCS Finals in Europe. Don't forget, NA East is not that far away. And also, if you want to watch something in between, if you're waiting to watch more Fortnite, go check out Rocket League, all right? The Rocket League World Championship is about to take place, the final set to decide it all. Go check that out. As always, we love y'all. Keep yourselves safe, and we'll see you on that battle bus. I can always count on it. I can always count on it.
Loudies to them. Easy, my guy. Oh, easy. Oh, easy, my guy. I hate this.
Quoi?
Non, mais
I ain't never been with a baddie. She calm, so I added to the tally. Madison bottom corner.